Hello viewers, you're welcome to Economy Today on TVRC. I am your host for today, Olaniun Oluwatobiloba is my name. And with me here we have Dr. Akintunde Somi Vincent. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
It's good to have you on set with us once again. Today we're going to be talking about worsening inflation, the impact of monetary policies and global economic trends on the Nigerian economy. And to get started with this particular session, I would like to ask Doctor, how exactly do you think the Central Bank of Nigeria's monetary policy decisions are going to affect Nigeria's inflation rates?
Very simple. There's true cash reserve ratio. It is believed that there are a whole lot of, cash out there, and it must be mucked back into the coffers of the Federation. So, and it's actually based on percentage. The all manner of all types of banks in Nigeria,
Yes.
the commercial banks,
Yes. According to the data I have here, we have for the commercial banks, or like the deposit banks, like GT banks, Access Bank, they have 50% for the CRR.
That's correct.
Yes, the cash reserve ratio, and for the merchant banks,
that's
16%.
That's correct. Okay, so like I said, it's through the CRR, the cash reserve ratio.
Okay. So what role do global economic trends like the Russia-Ukraine war play in inflation rates in Nigeria?
Well, we're saying we're looking at the disruption in the supply chain. It's just because when you look at the Russia and the Ukraine, don't forget the war is between the East and the West, between Europe and Russia. It's not just Ukraine and Russia. So so many sanctions on for example, they are from the US. Russia has been sanctioned, and even other European blocs has actually sanctioned Russia. So Russia believe that one of the ways to make sure they upped their game is to make life unbearable for the Ukrainians.
Okay.
And that's what we call the Sea of Odessa. That's what we call the Zaporizhia plant. Then we also have what we call the Donbas region. So the Russians seized the Donbas region, and the Odessa port that happens to be where they used to, lift up goods to other nations, have been over time disrupted. So Ukraine has not been able to carry out economic activities. And like I said, Russia is one of the largest producers of oil in the world. They have one of the finest oil in the world. Even in Africa too, Nigeria, we have one of the finest oil. Angola also has one of the finest oil. The same thing that is also applicable to Russia. When you look at Ukraine has one of the when you talk about wheat production, grain production, you talk about flour production. They are one of the largest producers. If you agree with me that over time the price of bread has actually skyrocketed from predominantly what we used to buy for purchase for 500 naira before. It's not sold for 1,500.
Yes.
To 1,700 just because of this. Not because of flour, because the flours are not readily available.
Okay.
So like I said, the war over time, what Ukraine used to export seamlessly before it's not becoming difficult. What Russia used to, those who used to purchase the Russian oil, over time they stopped buying from Russia, and that has also created kind of a whole lot of, and this, don't forget the world is a shame. We live in a global economy where what happens to one affects others. So when you look at this disruption in supply chain, it's also part of what is. It's also part of what has, played a vital role also played a very negative role in our own environment too, where you say even we Nigerians, where we say inflation here and there. Our see ordinarily, egg that we used to purchase for what's it called 17 naira before, it's not sold for 500, 350, just because of flour. Okay, look at even the feed, all this chicken feed that we used to for poultry. Also on the high side, this as a result of, because they are not readily produced here in Africa. They are produced in all these countries. So like I said, This has been one of those things that has created over time the inflation.
So if I get you very well, you're trying to say now that because supply has been affected or supply has been disrupted, then the demand from people is like there's hoarding.
Yes, not just hoarding, because number one, okay, like you said, the supply has been affected, grossly affected. So those that are readily available, they put a whole lot of, the price has actually increased.
Okay.
Because it is what you see everywhere. That's what you will do your gown. That's what you are going to brag on. You are going to brag about. But when they are not readily available, you will pay. You will go extra mile. You will pay. You will do everything at all costs to make sure you are able to get those. And if the prices, if they put it up there, you don't have a choice. There don't be any choice but to just make sure you're able to secure to get whatever that is out there.
Duly understood. So just to finalize this session and to wrap up, I would like to ask, because we cannot just talk about all of this without looking at a way forward, without looking at how we can basically address the issue, at least at a point in time. So how do you think individuals, businesses and the government can prepare for and mitigate this inflation issue?
Number one is, I think this one, usually people will tell you that, okay, fine, let me commence from this pedestal. Let's look at, number one, we have to make sure that we prioritize production. Just imagine what the Russians are doing, what the Ukrainians are doing. We have the capacity here in this country. Look at we have a whole lot of hectare, unused land mass in this country. We can plant a whole lot of cassava, and we have a factory that will be producing this flour. We have cassava flour.
And even
cassava flour, we have we can create all manner of flours. And when we are able to do that, I tell you most solemnly, depending on this country, with them will be minimal. Look at we have our own refinery here, but at the point in time in this country, we're not refined our petroleum products. We have to send it to Malta, send it to other part of the world for refinement. Then we are going to export our crude oil, then import refined products when we have the capacity. So when we continue like that, then we are going to weaken our naira. Then we are going to strengthen the foreign currency. And it's always going to be one-sided. Of course, the government will be happy because they are being paid. They are receiving the money in dollars. But what happened to our own naira? So, like I said, we have to encourage production. Number one, and again, number two, our leaders must be patriotic. They must understand the fact that power is transient. That posterity will always be there to judge. There was a time in this country we used to talk about the likes of Taishola Arin. We used to talk about Bawolowo. We used to talk about Nnamdi Azikiwe. We used to talk about Amadu Bello. What they've done for their people. I was discussing with somebody recently that look at that cocoa house in Ibadan. It was the money from cocoa. What we were able to generate over time regionally that was used to build that particular edifice. The edifice is still standing to date. Look at most of our universities across board. These are currencies. These are finance that they're able to put together during that regional government. So those that are there today now thinking about themselves, I, myself, my family, the country cannot grow in that regard. So the leaders must be patriotic. We must talk about production. Manufacturing must be and again those that are readily take a look at the telecom industry. They are complaining recently about hiking the tariff, the telecom tariff, which is quite unfortunate. What can we do without telecom in this country? We have even our election is telecom driven. Most of our agencies, they are telecom driven.
Yes, indeed.
Look at how we've been able to reduce so many kind of all manner of mayhems. The meeting you ordinarily have to have in Sokoto Zamfara, you can do it within the confinement of your room. So now they are complaining, they are agitating, they are saying they want to, and now even they pegged it to, instead of government allowing them to peg it from 30% to 50%, why not say, okay, don't worry. And this is what developed countries, this is what they are doing. There was a time we used to talk about the Industrial Revolution. We used to talk about the merchants, they want to go on strike, the engineers want to go on strike. You will see the president of the United States weighing weighing in that don't worry, okay, we are going to support you in this regard, we are going to support you in this regard, and they will put a whole lot of money to support them. Now take a look at universities. How many of our universities are among the world ranking bodies? Even in Africa ranking body, how many of our universities? Now, one of the leading universities in Nigeria now is not even owned by the government. It's owned by a private university. Covenant University. Covenant number one in the, where the likes of UI at the point in time used to be among the leading in Africa. But look at what you are actually what they've turned the federal universities into. So it's quite unfortunate. We cannot continue like this. Like I said, manufacturing. Just imagine a university that cannot even produce, graduate. Most of our universities, they have all manner of pothole, and you ask yourself, are they engineering students in this school? Engineering students, are they in this school? You ask yourself that question. Look at computers. We cannot even talk about creating thinking about how to digitalize our economy and everything. We cannot how many certified hackers do we have in this country? Look at our agricultural students. They are looking at how to get a job in the bank. Students that are supposed to be languishing in money, billionaires of tomorrow. Look at our unused land. Even government will make, even the ones that are readily available. Even the government, are they even willing to make sure that the land, even those that are able to acquire land, eventually the government will tell you that, please make sure you vacate the land. They make life difficult for people. The environment is not friendly. The economy is not friendly. The energy is not friendly. Look at the only renewable energy. And we have epileptic and erratic power supply. Even the PMS, they are not ready. 970 per liter. How do we drive the economy like that? So, like I said, our problem over time has been, apart from all I've mentioned, but you could always sum it up and put it under the leadership. They are all leadership problem. And I tell you most solemnly, the day we get it right leadership-wise, that's the day Nigeria will get it right. And that's the day Africa will get it right, because we are the forefront. Either we are number one in Africa today or number two in Africa. Nigeria will always be at the forefront, one way or the other. Either economic-wise or not economic-wise, one way or the other, Nigeria will always be at the forefront. But the day Nigeria gets, and that's why most of these countries that are creating mayhem or disrupting African states, that's why they want to make sure that Nigeria does not get it right. But we have to put ourselves together and say, take off all this. Think less of these people, think more of ourselves, and let's see how we can drive our economy to a greater height. Like I said for the helping time, the day Nigeria gets it right, that's the day the African countries will get it right.
Wow, that's a lot. Thank you so much, Doctor. There you have it, viewers, on Economy Today. We've been able to address the current inflation rate and how some monetary decisions and monetary policies, as well as global economic trends, can affect inflation rate in Nigeria. We've discussed on how the Central Bank of Nigeria's monetary policy can affect inflation rates, and how recent issues regarding the Russian and Ukraine war has also been able to affect the Nigerian inflation rate as well, and some measures that can be taken to mitigate and prepare for this issue, such as, of course, diversification, production, manufacturing, proper investment, and of course, finally, leadership, good leadership. So there you have it, viewers. I remain your humble host, Olaniwolu Atubiloba, here on Economy Today. Thank you, Doctor, for honoring our invitation to be here today once again. We hope you had an amazing time. Till next time, bye for now.